When Mary made her ascension, she returned to her place in the angelic kingdom, but with the added ability to work freely with humans after spending long years among them. Inasmuch as ascended Master Saint Germain was Joseph in a former embodiment, Mary and her angelic group will play a major role in assisting human beings to orient themselves in New Age activities. It is very easy to contact Mary mentally, and there is always angelic response to every call from a human being. Aside from the cases where angels have taken human embodiment in order to render assistance to humanity, the white doves, which are initiate birds, have served down through centuries of time as angelic messengers. Angelic entities occupy the bodies of initiate doves in order to get close to the earth and close to human companions, serving them in 1,000 subtle ways, radiating forth peace and joy and healing. How often walking in Central Park have we felt electrified with sudden joy as a pigeon wheeled through the bright air before us. It is in those moments of flashing splendor that we know the parcelet is nigh. Like humans, not all doves are graduates or initiates. Many are undergoing discipleship, and the majority are just ordinary aspirants to higher initiation. It is from the ranks of disciple doves that carrier pigeons are drawn forth and trained by humans. Also, like humans, doves vary considerable in appearance. Our rock doves and wood doves, which have moved into the big cities of Europe and America, have become known as pigeons. Like so many city folks, when with all the comforts of urban living at hand, the pigeons have grown somewhat fat and lazy for the most part, so much so that their brethren in the wilderness would not even recognize them. When Tesla volunteered to take an embodiment on Earth, he did not come to the planet alone. He was accompanied by his twin Ray, an entity so highly evolved that she did not take a human body, but instead manifested through a beautiful white dove. Naturally, living in New York, the dove could not appear too beautiful or too exceptional, or she would have attracted too much attention. So Tesla's pigeon, as she was called, looked much like any other pigeon, and mingled freely with her bird companions in the New York parks. But Tesla knew her well and could spot her instantly among hundreds of other pigeons. "A white female, with a touch of gray in her wings," he used to say. "I would know that pigeon anywhere." Naturally, Tesla never gave the slightest hint as to the actual identity of the bird. In many quarters he was considered just a little overtouched by genius, and his remarks from time to time left his listeners with their heads fairly spinning. Assuredly he had no way to reveal that the white dove with the touch of gray in her wings was his twin Ray. It is only in recent years, since Ascended Master Saint Germain began his major activities in connection with the New Age, that even disciples have known a few facts about twin rays. But one of Saint Germain's projects is to bring together the pairs of twin rays in embodiment at the present time, and thus far he has united a considerable number. This is of tremendous value to his Aquarian program because the average disciple working alone accomplishes very little at best. But if a disciple can be reunited with his or her twin ray, the spiritual efficiency of the two, working as a team, is increased about 1,000,000-fold. The ray divides into positive and negative white fire beings after the original divine spark leaves the great central sun of the galaxy. That sun is composed of twin flames, Alpha and Omega. The white fire beings, individualized into positive and negative polarities, are completely free. They also have all the attributes of the Godhead. They are endowed with free will and may do exactly as they wish. They need not leave Alpha and Omega if they wish to remain. On the other hand, they may pursue an evolutionary course if they so desire. Those of us who are here on Earth today are accountable only to ourselves for getting involved in what seems to be a somewhat hazardous ordeal. We were once white fire beings, but we wanted to go out and explore the cosmos, and we were for some reason attracted to this planet. Usually, twin rays do not remain together during their evolutionary explorations. Sometimes one remains with Alpha and Omega and one goes forth to wrestle with the world of matter. But at no time are they ever separated so far as their higher presence is concerned. When Tesla volunteered to come to the Earth, his twin ray exercised her free will, decided to accompany him, not only because it would be more pleasant for them to be together, but because her presence would enormously increase his efficiency in the job he had to do. She wished to remain in the background, however, so she chose to manifest as a white dove. She was always somewhere fairly near Tesla, and they were in telepathic communication. Frequently she flew into the open window of his hotel room at night, and they would have long talks together. But she was an advanced initiate in her own right and made herself as useful as possible in service to the light. Between 25 and 30 years ago in the United States, Saint Germain arranged for the reunion of several pairs of twin rays. At that time, he frequently used a white dove as a messenger, and although this may not have been Tesla's dove, still it serves as an example of the type of work that she could do for the hierarchy. If Saint Germain wished to send a message to a disciple who was not telepathic, he would write the message on a small white card and have it delivered by a dove. In these cases, the doves are always initiates. They are completely intelligent and never make a mistake. The dove, card in beak, would tap at a window or otherwise call attention to his presence. Upon admittance, he would deliver the card, pause for a loving caress, and then fly away. After the message on the card had been noted by the recipient, the card would vanish into thin air. In other words, after the purpose had been served in physical matter, the imprisoned energy was released and returned to universal supply. Reference has already been made to imprisoned energy which is so weakened by its long and brutal confinement in matter that it must, when transmuted and released by action of the violet fire, be sent back to the sun for recharging. This burden of imprisoned energy constitutes man's karmic burden today. A great part of this confined energy is stored away in attics, cellars, old buildings, slums, abandoned debris, junkyards, crowded clothes closets, the bottom drawer of the dresser, and especially in cemeteries where burial has replaced the clean, swift releasing process of cremation. Man will never have access to universal supply until he learns to get rid of junk, not for the sake of getting rid of it, but with the specific mental injunction that it is to be returned to universal supply. Then he must get rid of his magpie-like tendency to hoard, hoard, hoard. The person who hoards does not have faith and trust in God, no matter what he may say to the contrary. Some of the greatest hoarders, and therefore some of those who trust God the least, are often found up in the pulpit telling other people how to live. Persons like Mary and Saint Germain and Jesus set the correct example. Mary wished to leave the planet richer and more beautiful, even on the physical plane. So she precipitated the design for maidenhair fern and taught the elementals how to build it. Saint Germain lowers his vibration so that he is visible to the ordinary human eye, and then demonstrates to his disciples how to precipitate food, dishes, linens, and silver. Jesus, during his last embodiment, also precipitated food in a similar lesson for the benefit of his disciples. He supplied enough precipitated loaves and fishes, or what appeared to be genuine earth food, to feed 5,000 hungry and weary people who had been good enough to give their attention to his discourse. Then remember that he instructed his disciples to secure baskets and gather up the fragments of the food lest they be lost. In other words, he was obligated to etherize the leftovers and return them